All right, today we are diving deep into the U.S. Army's playbook for creating winners, Army Doctrine Publication 7.0. Now, this isn't just some boring manual. This is the core philosophy, the actual process that turns regular people into one of the most effective fighting forces on the planet. Let's get right into it.
So picture this. A squad's on patrol. All of a sudden, gunfire just erupts from their right flank. Now, in an untrained unit, you get pure chaos. People hesitate, they get confused, you've got conflicting orders being yelled over all the noise. But in a trained unit, you get competence. You get an instant, violent, and perfectly synchronized reaction. That difference, that night and day difference, it isn't luck. It's the result of tough, realistic, and absolutely relentless training.
And this sentence right here, this is the why behind everything. It's the North Star for every single leader in the Army. Every training exercise, every single push-up, every task, it all connects right back to this one core purpose. This isn't about just going through the motions. It's about building the skills to flat out win when everything is on the line.
So how does the Army actually do this? Well, we're going to break it down into 5 key parts. The whole train to win idea, the 2 pillars that hold up all training, the principles that guide every single decision, the management cycle that keeps everyone getting better, and finally, the end goal, making unbeatable teams.
Okay, first up, the blueprint for victory itself. Look, the world is a complex place. Threats are always changing, and you just can't afford to guess when it comes to being ready. You have to have a solid, consistent plan to make sure every soldier and every unit is ready for whatever comes their way. And that plan? It's ADP 7.0.
And we're not talking about just reading a book here. This doctrine lays out a process of total transformation. It's about taking individuals, people who were maybe civilians just a few months ago, and methodically building them into teams that don't just survive the absolute chaos of combat, but actually thrive in it.
All Army readiness, and I mean all of it, is built on 2 fundamental pillars. You've got individual training and you've got collective training. And you absolutely cannot have one without the other. They depend on each other completely. If you get this one distinction, you pretty much understand the whole system.
So over on the left, you've got individual skills. This is totally black and white. Can you do the task or can't you? It's a go or a no-go. Simple as that. And this is the world of the non-commissioned officer, your sergeants, the hands-on experts. Then on the right, you've got collective teamwork. This is graded on a scale, and it's the commander's job to take all those individual skills and weave them together into a high-functioning tactical team.
Let's really focus on individual training for a minute, because this is the bedrock of everything else. Can a soldier put their rifle together in the pitch dark, under pressure? Can they slap a tourniquet on a buddy to save their life? The standard here is absolute. There is no almost. You either meet the standard and get a go, or you don't and you get a no-go. That's how you build the muscle memory and the rock-solid confidence you need in a fight.
Just think about it like a pro football team. The coach can draw up the most genius play ever seen, right? But it's totally useless if the quarterback can't throw a tight spiral or if the offensive line doesn't know who to block. Individual skill is non-negotiable, and it's the NCO's job to make sure every single soldier has mastered their part of the play.
So once you have a team full of individually proficient soldiers, you can start building a proficient unit. That's where collective training comes in, and it's measured a little differently. T, for trained, is the gold standard. That's advanced, almost instinctual teamwork. P, for practiced, means, okay, they know the basics, but it's not quite smooth yet. And U, for untrained, means they just can't do it together. A commander's whole mission, really, is to move their unit from U to T. So how does a unit get that coveted T rating? Well, they have to master 3 critical things. First, their mission essential tasks, or METs. These are the big, complex jobs their specific unit was created to do. Second, they have to have total mastery of their weapons, everything from their own rifle to the cannon on a tank. And finally, they bring it all together in a collective live-fire exercise. That's the ultimate test, proving they can make it all work together under conditions that feel just like combat.
Okay, so we know what to train, but how should we do it to get the best results? That's where the Army's core training principles come into play. You can think of these as the unbreakable rules of the road that guide every single training event.
These principles, right here, are the DNA of Army training. It makes it clear that commanders are in charge, but it empowers the NCOs to do the hands-on teaching. It says you train as a combined arms team, infantry with tanks and helicopters, because that's how you fight. And my favorite, you train to a standard, not to a clock. You don't stop because it's 5 p.m. You stop when you get it right. And being good isn't a one-time thing. You have to constantly work to stay sharp.
Let's pull this one out, because if you only remember one, this is it. Train as you fight. What does that really mean? It means you make training feel as real and as stressful as actual combat. You train in the pouring rain, in the dark, when you're exhausted and starving. You face a smart enemy that's actually trying to beat you. You deal with your gear breaking down. This is how you build units that don't just get through a fight, they dominate it.
See, these aren't just feel-good slogans to slap on a poster. They are a practical system. They're designed to make sure every single minute spent training is useful and directly prepares soldiers for the brutal reality of the modern battlefield.
So we've moved from the why and the philosophy to the real how-to. If the principles are the soul of training, then the training management cycle is the brain. It's a step-by-step process leaders use to plan, prepare, execute, and assess all training. It's a non-stop loop of getting better. And here's that loop in action. It's simple, logical, and it never, ever stops. First, leaders figure out what's most important to train on. Then, they take a hard, honest look at where the unit is right now. What are we good at and where do we stink? Based on that, they plan and prepare the training event. Then they go out and do it. And this is key. Afterward, they evaluate what happened, and that feeds right back into step 1 for the next cycle.
Now, the real engine of this whole cycle is something called the after-action review, or the AAR. This is not just a quick chat afterward. It's a structured, brutally honest discussion about 3 simple questions. What were we supposed to do? What did we actually do? And what were we going to do to fix our mistakes and keep doing what we did right? Honestly, it's one of the most powerful learning tools in the world.
The secret sauce of the AAR is the culture of total honesty it requires. For it to work, rank has to be left at the door. Everyone, from the brand new private to the company commander, is expected to speak up. Why? Because that private who is on the front line might have seen the one thing that gets everybody else to improve. It creates this amazing environment of shared responsibility and super fast learning. Okay, let's bring it all home. We've talked about the pillars, we've talked about the principles, and we've talked about the process. So what's the end result of this entire system? What does it all create?
The big picture is this. In the U.S. Army, training isn't just an event you go to once in a while. It's a continuous, never-ending state of being. It's deliberately planned, it's measured against a tough, unforgiving standard, and it's constantly being improved through honest feedback. It's a professional commitment to being the best.
And this is what you get. By sticking to the doctrine in ADP 7-0, the Army creates confident soldiers who trust their skills and their gear, competent leaders who know how to make the right call under pressure, and tight-knit, cohesive teams that are ready to fight and win anytime, anywhere in the world.
So there you have it, from the simple go/no-go for one soldier, all the way up to that trained rating for an entire company. ADP 7-0 is the Army's blueprint for victory. Now that you know the plan, what part of military readiness should we tackle next? Let me know in the comments, and hey, make sure you subscribe for the next deep dive.